The Olympics have been over for just about a week at this point, but the news continues to roll out in the aftermath, and because there's a bunch of lawsuits that are currently flying and about to be launched, we unfortunately have to talk about this woke charade that took place over in Grand Ole Paris. First and foremost, because we got a couple of topics we got to touch on, I guess champions go first. The Olympic gold medalist in the welterweight division. Algeria's shining star, Imane Khelif. Imane Khelif filed a lawsuit on the grounds of advanced cyberbullying or some crap like that. My feelings got hurt because people don't believe that I'm a woman or something like that. I think that's the basis of all this stuff. But two of the biggest names that were attached to that filing were Elon Musk and J.K. Rowling. And then, of course, to follow up on that stuff, because we touched on that lawsuit, a couple of days back, and now we've got the repercussions. If parties end up being found guilty in this French-based lawsuit, they could be facing, Elon Musk and J.K. Rowling included, jailed for 5 years in French cyberbullying case filed by Olympic boxer Imane Khelif. They could also be fined up to £214,000. What if the Algerian Olympic boxer wins her criminal cyberbullying lawsuit against them? Just in case you ever thought that Europe hasn't fallen, take a look at this. Mean words that weren't even that mean and weren't really even that pointed at Imane, because you take a look at what J.K. Rowling was said. She was just mad that theoretical men were getting advantaged. She's a raving feminist just looking for an opportunity to bash men, and Elon Musk was just underneath going, yeah, that is very crazy. A lawsuit filed in France accuses Elon and Rowling of leading a campaign of harassment against Khelif, who was criticized for her participation, yes, for having XY chromosomes on one test. Maybe, potentially, we don't really know for sure, but what we do know is that if this does go to trial, Imane's going to be sporting a brand new look, guys. Imane Khelif unveils a new look in video after Olympic gender controversy. Algerian boxer Imane Khelif unveiled a glamorous look Wednesday in a new video following her gold medal win at the 2024 Olympics. In a video shared on Beauty Code's Instagram page, Khelif, who is at the center of a gender controversy during her run at the Paris Games, is first seen in a black t-shirt with her hair tied back. Well, you know what? I could describe it, or we could just play the clip right here. I think that'd be far more important. And holy crap, that's very loud. Why does Instagram do this stuff? I'll just instead show you the afters, because there you have Imane, okay? Obviously, still got, just an absolute puncher's jawline, that's for true. But obviously, done up and all that stuff. Far more feminine in presentation as opposed to the gold medal winning brawler. It's okay, yeah, in the proper context, is it a woman? I still, my stance on all of this stuff is probably has the plumbing, has a legit medical defect. I don't know what else. It's just funny to say that, that bitch throws a punch like a dude and all the other women are scuttering and scattering in the aftermath. But it'll be interesting to see where this goes afterwards, because that lawsuit is still pending and France is crazy enough to pick it up. But in regards to another potential lawsuit, I don't know who would be filing it in this case, because the Raygun breakdancing nonsense, well, this has been funny on multiple fronts. And not just talking about the routine itself, but how Australia's responded to it, how the internet's responded to it. It became a meme overnight. Overnight, mostly. It kind of harkens back. If you're an old school Opie and Anthony fan like I am, you might remember how they highlighted this guy, the chef, who faked a cookbook and was going around to those dorky morning shows, showing how you can repurpose your Thanksgiving leftovers. It was just an absolute fraud, professing to show expertise in a certain vocation, and everybody just going along with it. That's really what it seemed like was happening when breakdancing was at the Olympics. I still can't wrap my head around that actually being a legit category. But anyways, Raygun breaks silence over Olympic breakdancing backlash. Please stop, guys. Okay, I tried my hardest. It might have been funny, but now you guys are taking it a little bit too far by constantly memeing my kangaroo motions everywhere. Embattled Olympian Rachel Raygun Gunn spoke out for the first time Thursday as backlash from her breaking Paris Games performance intensifies. Yeah, it was breaking all the records like nobody before has ever been judged with a flat-ass 0. Appearing in an Instagram video, the Australian went viral last week during the Olympics inaugural breakdancing competition. That's still wild. Where she lost all 3 of her matches 18-0. Said she didn't realize how it unfolded in Paris would also open the door to so much hate, and she called a pretty devastating. Hi everyone, Raygun here. I just want to start by thanking all the people who have supported me. I really appreciate the positivity, and I'm glad that I was able to bring some joy to your lives. You really did, actually, like a lot of joy. I'm gonna be using that meme for a long time. That's what I hoped. The 36-year-old Gunn began. Because it's on Instagram, I'm not going to play it because, well, we can tell the tale in pictures. Anyways, I didn't realize that would also open the door to so much hate, which has frankly been pretty devastating. While I was out there, I had fun. I did take it very seriously. Did you really? I worked my butt off preparing for the Olympics. I gave it my all, truly. I'm honored to have been part of the Australian Olympic team and as a part of a breaking Olympic debut. What the other athletes have achieved has just been phenomenal. Gunn then addressed the allegations of misinformation floating around. Well, for whatever could you possibly be meaning, Raygun? In the wake of her widely criticized performance, including an online petition, the Australian Olympic Committee has since denounced. Well, what petition are we talking about here? Well, one in a long line of accusations that gets very interesting. Australian breakdancer Raygun is being accused of rigging her way to the 2024 Olympics. This is something. A Change.org petition signed by thousands claims that Raygun set up her own governing body for breakdancing to control the selection process and sideline other qualified dancers. Critics are calling for a full investigation. Yeah. At the time that screenshot was snapped, obviously 41,000 signatures is well over 50 at, time of recording. And it doesn't seem like there's any reason to think that this controversy is going to tamp down in the near future. But yeah, before we dig too deep, because last time we talked about this, I showed, at least in some of the slides, some of the hot moves and the hot fire that Raygun was spitting. But here's the competition that Raygun theoretically beat out. Before we dig too deep, here's Molly Chapman, the breakdancer who lost to Raygun in the qualifying event to represent Australia at the Olympics. And as you can see, that's somebody who's moving a little bit better. I'm not entirely sure about the facial expressions, but obviously a little bit more fluid and a little bit less rolling around on the ground than what Rachel had on display. But yeah, that looks like just old-fashioned 1980s breakdance. That's pretty impressive right there. Still, I don't really know for sure if that's Olympic Games caliber movement, but it's definitely a hell of a lot better than what Raygun was bringing, of course. But I think her routine, okay, nothing against Molly Chapman right here. All of this is very, very fluid, but there's not enough. Oh, there's a couple of little hops, but doesn't quite go up, arch up, and goes full kangaroo. So I don't know if you're necessarily qualified to represent Australia if you don't have proper representation. Raygun's critics alleged that she denied funding to talented but underprivileged youth, further accusing her of defeating phenomenal breakdancers in a qualifier she organized. Yeah, she was preventing those young youths out there from having the requisite amount of cardboard. Anna Mears, who we talked about as well, the president of the Australian Olympic Committee, is also under fire. Petitioners accused both Mears and Raygun of gaslighting the public and undermining the genuine athletes' efforts. The demand for transparency in the Olympic selection process is louder than ever. Yeah, given the fact that taxpayer money is going to be going to these athletes, you would think that transparency would be top of the charts. To this point, neither Raygun nor Mears have officially responded to the allegations, but we got the video. Okay, so Raygun has spoke out. Mears, on the other hand, well, she's too busy crying, I guess. However, Raygun did address her critics indirectly during an August 10th, press conference defending her performance and emphasizing the importance of creativity in breakdancing. Raygun stated, I was never going to beat those girls on what they do best, the power moves. What I bring is creativity. To be fair, You're being honest in this one, okay? All my moves are original. Yeah, I believe that 100%. Raygun's response reflects the ongoing debate in breakdancing. Should it prioritize technical skills or creative expression? Fair enough. Her comments suggest that she sees herself as an artist first and athlete second. That would make more sense. That would make more sense in the context of the routine. But honestly, is this much different than ice skating, okay, or ice dancing, ice polka, whatever the hell they do in the Winter Olympics? Not really. So if you want to apply that same level of critique, your routine still sucked ass. But does this justify the alleged manipulation? As the controversy unfolds, the breakdancing community is divided. Some support Raygun's emphasis on artistry, while others argue the selection process must be fair and transparent to all athletes, regardless of style. Yeah, exactly, because that's obviously a false dichotomy, because you're asking about judging criteria. Words are hard sometimes. Not as hard as differentiating talent from privilege. What seems to be the far more important conversation to be had here. Because yeah, you can quibble whether or not jumping around like a kangaroo is a better routine than what Molly Chapman was doing. Okay, you could say that creativity lends to a more difficult routine than just simply running back tried and tested techniques. That is of course up for discussion, but what is not up for discussion is the fact that that the selection process was taking place behind the scenes, behind the curtain, without any oversight. Petitioners are not just seeking an apology, they want systemic changes to prevent further abuses. This case could set a precedent for how emerging sports like breakdancing are managed and represented in the Olympics. I hope so. The ball is definitely in the court of the Australian Olympic Committee and the Prime Minister. How they respond could shape the future of breakdancing in Australia and beyond. And then, yeah, right underneath of that, we got the petition, which we'll peek in, and then also, Raygun's response here, which we went over some of the highlights, and yeah, her husband also seems to be in on this as well, and he seems about as equally talented as Raygun. So yeah, it looks like definitely when it comes to breakdancing, talent is sexually transmitted. But as for this petition, I mean, what are we dealing with right here? Oh, it's been taken down. How very interesting. How very interesting. And like I said, the Olympic Games might have been over for a little while now, but the controversy, it's not going to be slowing down anytime soon. So don't be surprised if we don't touch on a couple of these topics coming up next week and into the future. So with all that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.